Michael Bunting remains out of the lineup as the Leafs try to close things out in game number 5. Hey everyone, welcome into another SUN Sports Roundtable. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun Sports columnist Steve Simmons and Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writer Terry Koshan. And guys, it looks as if Michael Bunting, who is back from suspension, will get at least one more game off as Sheldon Keefe will stick with the lineup that has won 3 straight games. We'll start with you, Steve. Now that we've had a little bit more time to think about it, have your thoughts changed at all? Is it a mistake to not have Michael Bunting in the lineup for game number 5?
Well, it's the oldest coaching cliche in the book. We don't want to break up a winning lineup, and that's what Sheldon Keefe is going with here. He likes the way his lineup works. I like Michael Bunting as a player. I like what he brings. I like what he does as an agitator with the other team. I would have found a way to get him in the lineup, maybe pull out a Sam Lafferty, maybe switch Kerfoot to the fourth line and find a place to put Bunting on the first 2 lines. And that's what I would have settled with. But last time I checked, I wasn't coaching this team.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of of the same mind. Although, I think we should recognize, too, the play of Matthew Knies and what he's done here. This has made this decision for Sheldon Keefe a little easier, if you will. Knies has come in and not only has not looked out of place, made an impact. He's going to play in the top 6 in Game 5 with John Tavares and Mitch Marner. So there's a little more here than, the impact that Bunting could have if he were to come back in. Now, we know this is not long term. The Maple Leafs win tomorrow night. I would say there's probably a pretty good chance that Bunting is in Game 1 of the next series. If not, do we see him on Saturday in Game 6? I think that's quite possible as well. But, Keefe also saying he likes the chemistry of the 12 forwards right now, top to bottom. So taking everything into consideration, I think, it's not overly surprising that Bunting won't get back in, though his suspension is now done.
I like what Corey Perry does for Tampa or any other team, frankly, he plays for. And while he's 200 years old now and can't do what he used to do, I kind of like what Bunting could do in a Corey Perry kind of way, similarly for the Leafs without having that kind of size. And I think that's the kind of player Lafferty isn't, and Aston Reese isn't. They're not going to get that from anyone really in their forwards.
Well, I think, Steve, it goes back to what you said right off the top. Sheldon Keefe isn't going to break up a winning formula right now. And this group has won 3 games. And, we'll see whether he's right in about 36 hours or so.
Terry, a lot of the Maple Leaf stars have come to play so far in this series, but as you look around the lineup, who do they need more from heading into game number 5?
Well, probably William Nylander. I know that he had the points in game 4 and looked good, but just over 14 minutes of ice time. So he's a guy that you want to bring it a little bit more. But everyone can take their game up a notch. There's no doubt about it. And that's not a complaint about what Matthews and Marner have done in the series. They've been excellent. And, driving this as they're paid to do. John Tavares, another guy, to see another uptick in his play. But overall, to eliminate this team in Game 5 or Game 6 or whatever it might be, I'm not going to mention Monday night, the Leafs all have to take one more step because, Tampa's going to bring everything they have in Game 5. And to me, it'll be on each guy to make that improvement in his game on Thursday night.
Great players are judged by what they do in great moments. I mean, that's defining careers. That's Sidney Crosby. That's Trottier and Bossy and Gretzky and Messier and all those kind of players. Austin Matthews wants to be one of those guys. He believes he's one of those guys. You can believe it all you want. You have to do it. This is a perfect time for him to do it. He did it the other night. One game does not make a playoff warrior. Let's see what he does now when it's closeout time. And this is where you define your career.
And the other guy, I'd completely on that agree with Steve again. But the other guy I'd say too is Ilya Samsonov. I mean, the way he's put today, he's been one save ahead of Andrei Vasilevsky through this series, and they haven't needed, if you will, Samsonov to make the types of saves that he's capable of. But if he does that in Game 5, then the series will end on Thursday.
Well, let us know your thoughts on the Leafs and game number 5 in the comments below. For Steve Simmons and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time on another SUN Sports Roundtable.